JD Vance had a major clash with Kier Starmer and he really kicked off. I'm going to tell you something. I've got a mate who's told me from the White House exactly what happened when Kier Starmer turned up in the White House and claimed he was not attacking free speech. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to G Live TV podcast. Awful name, brilliant channel. They're a new project to bring free speech to the country. They only launched a couple of days ago. They've only got a couple of videos, but there's a brilliant one from Viscount Monkton talking about when he gate crashed a UN climate change conference and was almost deported from the Middle East. Okay, before we do anything, I'm going to show you this little video of JD Vance, Donald Trump and Kier Starmer talking about this infringement of free speech. Go.
In his remarks at the Munich Security Conference, Vice President Vance condemned free speech violations in the UK, particularly. Could you respond? What is your message?
I have an idea. We have the man right here. Come on. Let's go, JD. We're putting you on stage.
Great. Yeah, look, I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British, of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
Okay, now here's the bit that wasn't broadcast. We've all seen the run-in with Zelensky. Give us the planes and we will do the job, right? But what you don't know is that JD Vance is well up for an argument. And actually, when Kier Starmer left and went away from the TV cameras and the press, apparently Vance did to him what he'd done to Zelensky. He said, look, I'm sorry, why are you coming to the White House and plainly lying? The reality is that you have inflicted a prohibition on free speech in Britain. And okay, JD Vance, I think, pretty much lied. He doesn't actually believe that it's appropriate for Britain to choose to do that. But, you know, he's the Vice President of the United States of America, so he's obliged to say these things. But he does have a point, which is, hang on a second, you are harming American technology companies. You are attempting to enforce your socialist views on the rest of the world. And I will tell you something, this point about free speech is incredibly important. Now, look, at the end of the day, I look at my comments below, and some people think I'm right about some things, people think I'm wrong about some things, some people just come on here because they think I'm a knob. And I'm happy with that. Do you know what I say on my Twitter? I say comments expressed here are not even my own. What I'm trying to do is throw out a debate, come up with some ideas and come up with a thing to talk about and go and down the pub and have a chat about. You know, if you come up to me and say that I said something 10 years ago that was wrong, you know, my answer is going to be, well, you know what? I was wrong. I'm not going to stand by it. This suggestion that there should be a party line on everything and that free speech should be prohibited and that we should always stand by everything we've ever said is garbage. How many times have you heard, this is too important for politics? What's that actually mean? Think about what that means. What that means is, right, this subject, whether it be farming, whether it be national defence, whether it be free speech, whether it be policing, is so important that we are going to abolish democracy in this area and we're going to appoint a dictator to do it for you. That's what it means. Too important for politics. It's this European idea that I know more than you about how to live your life. I don't. Now look, you know, I've got some things that I'm good at and you've got some things that you're good at. But the reality is this idea that you need to tell people what to think is nonsense. I want to tell you what the College of Policing believe. Listen to this. This is brilliant. This pyramid of hate, right? What they say is, if you are allowed to say hurty things about people, in the end, it will lead to genocide. And they've got this pyramid. They've got no evidence it's true. Right. I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you want to prove whether the College of Policing are right, that if you say nasty things, eventually it will lead to genocide because nasty things creates a campaign, campaigns create people trying to attack people. Take out a megaphone, go down your local high street and shout, all ginger people are a danger to society. Right. Now, the College of Policing have said in their report that if you do that for long enough, people walking past will start to believe that ginger people are dangerous. They will form a campaign to criminalise ginger people. They will politically campaign against gingers. And in the end, they will start gassing them in Auschwitz. Right. That is bollocks. It's bollocks. If you take, and you can try it if you want, if you take out a megaphone and start doing that, people will walk past and tell you you're wrong. Right? And in the end, after you've spent a month being shouted at and called a wanker, then you will probably give up. Right. The point is this. Free speech is the bedrock of democracy. If you look at what the police have done with things like Southport, the College of Policing loved Southport. You know, what we need to do is prohibit everyone from saying anything, lock people up who debate openly. And what was the result? It's a pressure cooker that goes off. That is what's happening. The reality is, Kier Starmer, as far as I'm concerned, is a communist. I believe that he was persuaded to support the Soviet Union when he went over to Prague in his 20s. Remember, the KGB I'm not joking, the KGB released files on everyone who went to that summer camp. And what did they say? Jeremy Corbyn, they said, don't bother recruiting him. He's an idiot. Didn't say anything about Kier Starmer. Also, I think he met the wife there as well. But he believes what the Soviet Union believes, what the communists believe. Forget trying to win the argument. Prohibit the debate. Stop people from saying, oh, you can't say that. Well, yes, I can. Right? And this is part of the reason that I'm doing this on this channel. But I will tell you what makes me laugh. Kier Starmer is so scared of Donald Trump and so scared of JD Vance. Apparently they threatened to throw him out of the White House if he insulted the intelligence of the American public by publicly going into the Oval Office and claiming that he wasn't prohibiting free speech. They were offended. Now, look, I didn't like what happened with Zelensky, but you know something about Donald Trump? I think he's doing a good job, and I'll tell you why. Remember, the American system has many, many benefits, but it has a couple of downsides. And one of the downsides is this. It has the chief executive and the head of state are the same thing. Just to explain. In most countries, there's a king and a prime minister, or in Germany, like a president and a chancellor. In America, it's combined into the same role. Now, it's really, really hard to do the baby kissing when you're also a political figure. Donald Trump has to do it. So inevitably, because we live in the United Kingdom, where we're used to, you know, the king very concerned with this issue, is very non-political, whereas obviously the Prime Minister is very political. So for us, Donald Trump looks a bit strange in that respect. But by God, he shook things up. You know, I think Elon Musk said the other day they'd spent $25 billion installing broadband that 30 people had got. Something like I'm making up the figures, something like 200 million per connection. Right. I will tell you this. This country under Kier Starmer is going to the dogs. This prohibition of free speech is dreadful. By the way, the Thames Valley Police have still not taken up my offer of sending round their best people to tell me about the pyramid of hate and explain to me how prohibition of ginger people is ever going to work. They won't do it. But that's not my point. My point is this. There is now a campaign, not to shut me up, not to shut you up. If you're watching this channel, I read the demographics. You're comparatively older and you're comparatively rich. People who are 20, people who are 30, people who are living on council estates, they're the people who can't speak. People who are at school can't speak. JD Vance took Kier Starmer to task, and I tell you something, thank God he did. Until next time, goodbye.